Hello, Billy the Artist here with another Crest from Harry Potter How to Draw video. Today we are going to do Ollivanders Wand Shop Sign. Now, we have done before, we have done the full Hogwarts crest with the four houses on of Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, Draco Dominens, Nunquam, Titilandus, never tickle a sleeping dragon. Quite wise advice there, but we've done these. And we've done Gryffindor, Slytherin, Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. Now, I've done these using the same grid that I have done for the portraits. So, when I've done the full pencil portrait lessons of Harry, Ron, Hermione and some from the Fantastic Beasts, when I've actually done these, using the same grid and the same shapes, that's where I've done these signs using a felt tip pen for. And also, of course, there is Dobby, and all these are in the How to Draw Harry Potter playlist. So do like and subscribe for more videos, because more will be coming. You've asked for more characters and I will be doing them, and lots of things from Harry Potter, and it's just great fun to encourage you with your art and with your drawing. And so I do these, and again you can see this grid. If you check out at the bottom, this is A4 paper, 210 across the top, 297 down the side, and the grid lines, they are measured on, and the actual dimensions for the placement for your grid lines are below. And again, you can probably hear the bird tweeting outside. I have birdies nesting. So we are going to crack on with Ollivanders wands. So we have the grid. These lines are quite dark. You don't have to put them on as dark. I just do them this dark so that you can actually see them. Now this is pretty much all curved. Now again, how to draw anything part 1 using shapes will help you to place everything. Now all of these signs, whether it's been the crests or the Hogwarts shields, they look very complex, but when you break them down into little shapes, and I'm going to use lots of little shapes to help you do this, but also these guidelines are brilliant for kind of doing a dot to dot, and you will place everything and it builds up the image for you. And it's an old master's technique, and if you check out How to Draw Olaf in the How to Draw playlist, that's got a picture of John Constable in there, one of his pieces, how he took a drawing and then increased it to fill the full size of his canvas, from drawing to canvas, using a grid system. So this is just a help and a guide, and artists have been using it for a long time. So now we are going to start. Now inside this is all very curvy and very big and long. So here in the center of this guideline at the top, we've got the wand, and you can see it kind of comes out down the bottom. Now realistically that wand is going to just be one long line, but it's at a slight angle going over. So I'm drawing that all the way down, and it's going to be a long thin tube, like a very long rectangle, and you see that comes underneath right to the bottom. Now again, we've got the same on this side. This one's got a bit of a kink here, but we'll deal with that after, the same as this one's got a bit of a kink here. So halfway point on that line, go up, you've got the angle, you can put a little dot, and then it comes right the way down to this bottom part here. So in fact I'm going to do this all the way properly. So here you can see it's going to be a bit of a rectangle there going up. You've got a bit of a capital C, and then the rectangle carries it up, so you can imagine that that goes all the way up, and you've got the fine point, and then it comes down, and these are your construction lines. So you can do them lighter. I'm doing them so that you can actually see them. And so here we've got, it goes a little bit in a different direction. So there's the outline. Now I'm using a 2B pencil. You can use a HB for your construction lines. You can even use a 2H if you want to do it very lightly. This is what makes it all work quite well. By putting, doesn't matter what you use, just put these construction lines down and it will help your drawing immensely. Now, again, this sign is completely curved. So you can see here, it's kind of just under the halfway point. So where the wand crosses these guidelines, you've just got this nice semicircle curve. So you can draw the construction line right the way over, and then you can bring it out down. Again, it's kind of above halfway where it comes out on the right hand side, and then on the left side of your paper kind of matches that. We want that line to go up, and the birdies are cheeping. So now, because it's made of wood, it's got this kind of chamfered edge. We're going to follow it up again. Now my elbow is not resting on the paper. I'm doing this line continuously using my, like at the end I just kind of used my fingers, but that curve was running from my shoulder so that it was just more fluid. So now here inside this one, you can see this edge is like a C shape. Okay, you can see the edge of the frame coming round is just like a big capital C, and that's about a third of the way up. So if I draw a big rectangle first, and if I do the same on this side, you can see it's just touching the guideline, it's just inside on this side, it's touching the guideline on this side, and we can go out and then we can come down. So there's a rectangle that will help us put these shapes in. But now we want a curve coming down, and it comes just to the right of the wand that you've drawn that line down, but it's like a C. So you've got this flat bit across the top, curve it down, flat bit all the way across, and then again the chamfered edge, curve down behind the back of the wand, right the way out to the edge. Now again, you've got this bottom part, and we'll join it up. We'll do the one on this side, same thing. This is like the front of a capital D. So we're going to do the chamfered edge. Oh, I should join that up as well, so you can join those two up, and then we can join that up, and then inside the rectangle we can go up, curve, and it should kind of be about the same height, so that needs to come down a little bit, and the D comes down, just goes out, and you can see how that shape, that line will join if you imagine carrying that line on down to that corner point there. Now going up behind the back of the wand, and then we do that out to the edge. So you can see you've got the kind of cut out little bit where the wand shows through. Now what we want to do is a little rectangle down off the edge, just slightly curved. The same on this side to match, but curving the other way. Now here at the bottom, if we draw just like a bottom smile, a bit of a smile coming from just inside, you can see where the lines are. That's about a third in of the inside line. So kind of come down, but then you've got the Diagon Alley that curves over the top. So you've got your curve coming right the way round, right the way up to join there, but the Diagon Alley little banner at the bottom with wings on, with kind of bat wings, floats underneath. And then we want the same with the chamfered edge following it behind. Again, this is just allowing us to do a kind of dot to dot picture. So you just want a nice little curve there, and you can see how that's going to then go up and join on to the bottom part of this. Now that needs to come down below the kind of halfway point, and then you can join those lines up, come across, because this needs to be about the same, and we can just curve that up now to join that part. And you're just using the wand and the guidelines as reference points to help you place everything on your paper. So there you've got the complete outline down. And this does seem very complex, but it's just by using shapes and reference points you can build up this complete image very, very carefully and in a solid and systematic way. So now we're going to work our way in. In fact, let's do the little ticker tape at the bottom. So here we've got a triangle coming up. So that's the edge of the wing, and we know there's going to be one on this side, the same. So it needs to go above that line. So just a nice curved triangle coming out, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tines. So you've got 1, 2, 3 going to the end. So you can kind of indicate the spines in the bat wing, and you can just show those curves quickly. Now the same on this side. So you've got the spine going up, then you've got, in fact that should come down a little bit further. So we'll just rub that out. That should be a bit more acute. Well, the same on this side. It comes to just the other side of the wand. So you've got the spine that comes down of the bat wing, and then you've got one in the middle, one there and one there, and then you've just got little C shapes curving inside. Again, we can build that up a little bit more when we actually draw over with the pen. Now here you've got a little S. You can see I'm just doing an S, and on this side it kind of reverses, but you've got a cylinder that is creating this nice shape, this nice round shape. You've got a cylinder there of this kind of ticker tape banner, this lovely bat wing banner that's coming round. Again, we can bring that wing down even more now that we've got that, and that's a bit low actually. So that was high, this was a little bit low. Again, this is why you do your construction lines, so you can make the simple mistakes as you are going along. So again, now I'm doing another cylinder that's matching the point. So from the inside of the wand sign there coming down, we've got the edges, and so that curves round to the wing, and then that curves up and goes to the Diagon Alley bit there in the background. Now we can do the bottom line that comes around as well, do the inside lines, and there you've got the nice shape of that Diagon Alley ribbon that's kind of fluttering around underneath. Now we've got the inside part to do. So again, it's not quite a square or a rectangle, but it's a close shape. But what I'm going to do is, because it's just above the kind of halfway line, I'm going to, and inside there, I'm going to just draw a box. And you can see the lower point of everything with the unicorn and the phoenix feather in the centre is along the line from these edges on the outer part of the sign. So I'm just putting this box in as a guide. Now the shoulders of it start to go above this cutout here, so you can see there on the outside, and that's the outer point. And then you've got that curve going all the way over. So now you can do the curve of the outer line, and you can do the curve of the underline inside the box. Now it's a little bit further in. I've gone right to the edges, but that doesn't matter. So if we just come inside, and then we can curve this line, and that's the shape of the outer part of the inner sign. Now we need to replicate that, because you've got a second line inside that curves down and underneath, and that follows the same shape and trajectory over the top. Now you can see there that the unicorn's in at the top, so if we draw a little kind of teardrop, that's its ear, and then there's one just kind of behind it. Now we've got a diagonal line that comes down, and from the centre line you can draw a diagonal line just slightly curved out, and then from the back of the ear, the back of the unicorn's head curves and comes back. Again, you're using the shapes that you've already made as your reference points to guide you. Now the front of the unicorn's head, I'm just drawn a little bit of a rectangle. Now the wand, the phoenix feather in the background, is another rectangle that comes up there, and then there's a little triangle on the top, and it's got a little flourish coming over. Then there's some extra, I'm not sure, some other kind of feather, might be a raven's feather or something, and we've got 3 on the back. But you've got the mane of the unicorn that comes out, so I'm just going to draw a box there and a rectangle halfway up, and then another rectangle at the back. So I've got these little box shapes, and this will help me to guide the lines for the rest of the unicorn. Now you've got a cone going right the way up from the front, in front of the ears. So a little triangle, and that's the unicorn's horn on the top of its head. So now from the ears we're going to curve the line up, comes down, the nose is halfway through the feather. So that's where the edge of the unicorn's nose is going to be. So here we want, this is like the kind of cheek of the unicorn, like a horse. And then comes down to the jaw, little shape for the mouth, follow the line up, and then follow the line down to the edge of the nose. You can put a dark mark in for the nose, and the eye is going to be there, and then we can put these other construction lines in, the detail lines in after. But we've got that line that comes down there. I'm just going to indicate there's a few lines that go up. Now we want the mane at the back, so that's coming up from by the corn at the front of the unicorn, and then that needs to curve off, and we've got this lovely shape inside this first rectangle. So just follow the swirl and curl it inside. Then we've got the second one, which is inside the next rectangle. Little triangle, and following the curve back up to the back of the horse's head, unicorn's head, sorry. Then the big bit at the back, and it curves underneath the centre line and joins up. And then we've got these 3 points that curve right the way. So these 2 lines, you can see this is another little sign inside that hangs, because we've got here, you've got a little connecting ring, or it'd be rope holding the sign. So whether it be a little metal ring or... So that's another little sign that swings inside the big sign on the outer. They don't often go for complex images, it seems, but by using simple shapes you can build this up very quickly and very simply. So now the feather comes right to the bottom, and then we've got, like I say, we've got that 3 big points of what looks like kind of raven feathers underneath. Then we've got the centre of the feather, the phoenix feather, going up, curving to the top. And then that makes the edge, and then that curves over. And the unicorns slant that way, the twirls around the unicorn. So there you've got the centre of the sign all done and put in. Now around the outside again, we've got a shape in the outer part of the wood that follows the form of the shape there that's cut out with the smaller sign inside. So it's easy to just, you can do it all in one go if you want. If you're confident enough, you can do the little ellipses at the end, but I'd just go and follow the line over the top to where it joins the point there, and then you can, because you can see that goes pretty much to the edge, and then from that guideline you can come down and you can see it really does come to the guideline down here in line with that point. So you can put a little mark there, follow the curve, come on this side to inside to again down here just inside that line, and so that curve comes down, and then you want to follow the shape underneath. That curve goes up, and then you can just put the little shapes on, follow the line out, put the little ellipse on, and they've got a little mark inside. Again, this one on this end, and then on this one it goes over the line a little bit with the dot in the centre. So there you've got the line around the outside. Now this is giving you a lot more to work with. Now we've just got to put in the type into the actual structure of the sign. So what I'm going to do as well is put the line, like we've got that line, I'm going to put this one because it'll help with putting the type in as well. So we're following the shape on the inside of the lines, and the one's in there. So now I'm going to rub that out so you can see that that's not supposed to be there. So now that's gone from inside the sign, but you put that original line all the way down and through. So now we're going to follow this line again, and my elbow's not touching the paper, so I'm just kind of following the curve inside the chamfered edge, and that comes right the way up over the top, and Ollivander's name is going to be inside that, and it comes right the way down to there. And so you've got Ollivanders, maker of fine wands since the 382 BC. He's been in business for a little bit of a while. So now you can see you've got the top of the L there that's just above that corner point on those two guides. So I'm going to draw again, but lightly this time, guidelines, and the E is over the top of that one as well, and it comes down like you'd have guides in a handwriting book, and this is just underneath on this side for your letters, and it gives you the right kind of size, shape and spacing. And you can see that this line is a bit lower than the top point there where the R comes through. So I'm doing that right the way down. That's going to come to the S. The L is right on the corner there. So as we follow this down here, we've got another guideline coming right the way out to the O. So now, again, these letters look like they're going to be very complicated, but they're not. If you break them down into simple shapes, it will be very, very easy. And we've got nice little markers that we know things have got to fit. So this is why we've put these curve lines in, to help you guide everything. So you know that the A is here. So we've got an upturned V. So imagine an upside down V. And that's the outside of the A. And there's the kind of serif. And this is kind of, imagine this carved in wood. And so there you've just got two rectangles. And then the bottom part is a little triangle as well. And it's got these little triangles that are pointed out. Now, the N carries on straight off the A. So I've got a rectangle there going up to the top, another one there, and you can see that that N, the top of this side of the N, is about in the middle, so you know you're on the right place. So from this bottom part then, that's going to go up to that corner. So there you've got a parallelogram, and we can put the serifs on and the little points as we go along. Now the D sits next to it, and so we know we've got the back of the D, but we've got to leave space for the E. So here we can see we've got the E, inside part of the E is underneath this corner point of these two guides, and that's going to come down to the bottom, and then we can draw the back of that, and we know that the D is going to be next to it, so we can put the edges in there. Now you can either draw a box up, or you can just, well, okay, I've drawn a line down but not too dark, which will help you to guide you putting the curve of your D in on the outside. The same there, and then on the inside you can see that comes down underneath the guide, and there's your D. Now the E, you've got the edge point with the serif on of the top beam, and then you've got the lower beam in line with that but inside this guideline. And this is how it makes it really simple. You don't think of it as a complex shape, just break it down. There's a rectangle at the bottom, here's a little rectangle, and then you put a triangle on for the serif. Nice and easy. The R goes over that line, comes down to that guideline, then you've got a rectangle coming down there which you can curve after, and that's the kick of the R. And then you just want the nice round shape going all the way up to the top, and then you've got a little hole in the centre which is like a capital D. And then you've got the S. Now the S is angled and curved, and it just looks very, very complex, but it isn't. Okay, so we've got the R that comes down. We're going to extend that line down a little bit so we've got something to work with, and there you can see the S comes off. The other side of the S is a little bit lower than the top one, so if we draw a line across horizontally but then just come down a little bit lower, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to do a box there, And I'm going to do another box there, because you can see the centre part, it is quite straight. So I'm going to do a rectangle there. So this is a very complex shape that's just become very simple. And now I'm going to extend that over and curve it down to the edge of the S. And then curve inside there. I'm going to do the same on this side. You know, it kind of curves down underneath and kicks up. And then the same on that side. And you've just done Ollivanders S very quickly and very simply. That's a complex shape and letter made very, very simple. Now the V, like the A, is just, well, you've got a simple V shape rather than an A. But I'm going to start now with this L, because it will give us the right placing. So if I draw a rectangle down, and then we want a little rectangle going out, and you've got the serif on it, and the serif at the top, and then we've got the I next to it. There's a rectangle. That I is very simple. Now we know that the V is going to fit between the A and the I, and it kind of comes down a little bit below. And you can put the serif in, and you can bring down, so imagine just a rectangle down to that line, and there's the rectangle on the top of that, and those two serifs join at the top. Nice and simple. And then you've got the little points again. I missed the point off the D, that joins on that one, and then there's a point off the back of the E, again the back off the R, and we can add the rest on. Now we have the next L that comes past this guideline, and the top of the lower beam joins on the guideline, and then you've got your angle that goes up, the rectangle that goes up, and then you've got the serif on the top, and we've got little diamond points. Now we've got the O is just a nice oval shape on the edge, so we can really fill that in. You can put a box if you want, a rectangle shape to help guide you if you want, and then just put the curves inside, and then put the inside line a similar thickness to the bars on all the other letters. So you've got the inner shape, that's like a little oval, a little ellipse inside, and then you've got a little diamond right in the centre, and then you've got the edge diamonds connecting and coming off the O. So there you've got Ollivanders. Again, it's just making simple shapes work for you. Again, I'm going to do the same thing, a very light line above the dark line of the sign that's engraved into the sign, which will be makers of fine. And then the kind of gap, so this will be the top and bottom of the letters for you. Now, it doesn't matter where you start. I'm left-handed, so if I do that, go that way, it's not going to work and look very good for you. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to start at this end with the ein, but you could also start here with the S, because it's very close to the centre line, so you could just put a nice simple S in, and here, because you've got the top and bottom lines, just make them work for you. You can see where they're going to go, and you've got the E is going to come right off the bottom of the V. This is better because it helps you with your placing. So long serif points on there. In the centre you got like a little T that makes that E with the serif in the centre. Then we've got the R, and the back of the E is thicker, same as the back as the R is thicker, kind of italicised as it's carved into the wood. Serif right at the bottom. Now the edge of the K lines up with the I. Again, thicker line at the back, and you've got the kick going up to the top, and then you've got a nice little curve that comes down and joins the E. Serif at the bottom which joins on with the A, and that's going to go up into the kind of centre of the bottom part of the L that sticks out there, that little square. Again, just draw a capital A. And then you've got the serif at the bottom, and then you've got the M, again, joins up with that, the edge of the L, and again the edge of that L. If you bring the line down, that'll guide you for that side of the M, and then the points don't come right down to the bottom, and you can just put the serifs on, and there you've got makers, very, very simply and very quickly. So now we're going to go to of fine. I hope you're enjoying this. I really, really do. So this is coming down off the N. Let's line that up a little bit better. So underneath the left hand part of the N, we just want a nice big O, and there's a dot in the middle, and then the F. With the serifs. I really enjoy just sharing this and these techniques because it's just really, really good fun helping you guys with your drawing, and I hope you're enjoying it. Makers of, and so on to another F which is just in the kind of centre of the D. Serif, little T there for that bottom one, serif. Then the I is kind of there next to the D. The N runs inside that E, and we can do the diagonal, and then the E just finishes up coming under the R. We've got the serifs on the I. So now we've got to do the words at the bottom, and then we can ink it all in. So even though this does seem very complex and it's all curves, there's no real straight lines on this, you've seen how simple it is to make it work. So again, I'm going to draw lightly a guideline for the top and bottom of the wands letters. Following the curve and the shape that's guided by this line here. And you can see that the N is pretty much starts right on the centre line. So there we have a rectangle. Little rectangle going off up to the top. It's got a little point coming off in the serif. And then you've got this like kind of little rectangle which is the serif at the bottom. And then you've got a curve. So that goes up, and this curve comes right out. The D, we've got, you can see it's in line with the feather coming down. So you come down, and that's where the edge of the D is. Just follow the curve a little bit as it bends around, because it's not straight like that part of the N is. And just draw a rectangle. And then you can fill the D out, and you can see it's going to come in line with where this edge of the sign comes round. Do the inside part, and then you can extend for the serifs. Now the S, again, just like the S that's up here, looks a bit complex because it's a script kind of italicized S, but instead just think of it as boxes. So you can see you've got a line that comes off from the centre line there that's going to come down and go a little bit below your construction line. And if we do the same up at the top, kind of parallel to that, we now have a place where we can make a rectangle. If we do another little box there and a longer box there, that gives us the basis for the S, and you can see it's a little bit curved. So now I'm just going to curve that, bit of an S shape. I'm going to curve the top one and then bring that right the way down to the point at the bottom and curve that out too, and the same for the bottom part, and that'll all be black. And then the top curves away, curves up to a point, and you've just made that complex S very simple. Now we're going to do the same with the A, going back over this side. So like the D, slight angle for the straighter side of the A. So there's your rectangle. You've got a little rectangle that will be the bar through the centre, and then one across the top, and then it just curves at the end. And you can see here where the A is kind of inside this line here of the edge of the sign. So I've just done a little C there because that's the kind of edge of it. And now going from the top, we want a nice curve coming down, touching there. The curve comes out the side of the A, and we can put the serif on at the bottom. Now we've got the W. So we've got the edge just slightly curved, so I did the rectangle first and then curved it. Then we've got a little rectangle there, and you can see another rectangle there. I've gone a little bit too far over there, so I'm just going to rub that out. And then we've got two little lines that go up, slightly angled, and then you've just got like the beginning of a C or a crescent moon kind of shape that comes down and joins on there. Same there, and then here comes out past the centre line, down, and on this side it's inside, not the centre line, the guideline. And now you've got the outline for your W for wands. Now behind it we have an actual wand, but again that follows these same curves and lines, so I'm very lightly just drawing in a shape, little disc there at the end, and this kind of goes right the way through the centre. But I've done that lightly because there's little gaps. So here at the end we've got a little triangle, and then you just fill in the bits in between, but don't touch the letters. And so you got a little bit underneath that A, then you got a bit inside between the N and the D, the A and the N, sorry, same there. And top line, again, that one, those I've drawn little boxes complete, but there I've drawn a little box, it looks like a little eye in between. That's because there's a highlight on the wand. So in the D, same thing, I've done the line at the top and then filled inside that D, and the same with the wand going up into the S, curves inside, and then this top part goes up, and you've got a little kind of disc at the end, and then you've got some lines coming down underneath. But again, we can fill that in with the pen. Again, we've got since 382, not 328, 382 BC. So here we can follow that curve underneath wands, and the same there. And I'm just going to simply do the letters. So you've got a 3, and you can see how the end of the 3 comes underneath the centre line and that bottom guideline. The 8's above it. So you've just got an 8, which is essentially 2 circles. Then you've got a 2, nice curve, and then the bottom of the 2 goes on the line. The B is underneath the D, and the C is kind of next to it, and then you've got 2 full stops, 2 periods for all of my American followers. I hope you're enjoying this. Now, on this side, I'm going to go backwards. So we've got the E, then the C, that A can come down a bit, and we've got the C, and then the N, the S, the I, and then the S. That did happen to me once. I did miss a letter out on a drawing, and I did manage to get it back in. Somebody spotted it before it went off to be printed. That was a long time ago, but it can happen. So there we have the since 382 BC. Now we've got the Diagon Alley. Now fortunately we've got the N right in the centre. But again, I'm just going to put a construction line in, lightly. It's going to help with the bottom of the letters. But the N is right on, and these are quite Gothic-y type letters. Now the O is a bit more like a diamond. The G is quite large, goes a little bit underneath. It's not curved, it's a bit right angled there. It's like a backwards L. So imagine you're doing a letter D and you're doing the bottom part now. Then we've got the A. The top of the A, and then the curve that comes round. Then you've got the I with a little diamond dot high above it. And then we've got the final D on this side of Diagon. Yeah, we can fill that out with the marker pen when we add all of that in a moment. Now on this side I'm going to start with the Y. So down to the line I'm just going to do a V, but extend that Y down underneath. Then you've got a little E straight up on that side, and then it curves around, and then we've got 2 L's, and then the A is like the A up here, so it's got a straight edge on the right hand side, and then it curves out with a little flourish at the end, but it's got a flourish that comes right off at the top. Now there's the full pencil line down. I know that's complex and there's no real straight lines, but that's how simple it is to build a very complex shape using simple grid lines, boxes, cylinders and shapes. So I hope that's been really helpful, and now we're going to fill it in with the ink. So here we go with the filling in, and it's all kind of wiggly lines. So now coming down, I'm doing the wand on the outside first that sticks through. Now we've got lots of kind of chunky bits in this. So up above the D here we've got a nice chunk taken out. So I'm following that line down now, and because we've put all of the construction lines in, this is what really helps. So there's the edge of the sign, that's going up. I've got another chunk out here above this V. And so I can draw that now around. Another one here, another chunk out, nice V shape there. I'm going to do the curve of the wand that's sticking out through the wood, and then bring that down. And there's another little chunk there. And then we're going to fill that up to the top. Now we're going to come around this side again, little chunk missing there, little V shape, corner edge. Then we've got the wand on the inside of this bit that's taken out. You've got the little knot in the wood, and then the curve underneath. The shape going to the back, that shoulder coming over, and you come down and there's a little knock missing there. The edge down on this edge part, another little knock missing. Line coming down to this curved shoulder that comes down, and then we've got the wand sticking out of the bottom part of this chamfer, and then little ellipse of the wand at the bottom. I'm just putting the outline in, we'll fill all the other bits in afterwards. I just want to outline everything onto the sign. Now we've got a nice chunk there sticking out. Top of the Diagon Alley. Now this is one long curve. Now I'm going to have a go at this. I'm going to start at this point. You can do it individually. I'm going to start at this point. I'm going to go all the way across in one go, because my arm is pivoting at the shoulder. Remember, don't rest your hand, just lightly allow it to flow. So that comes down, follow the curve of the ribbon all the way over the top, follow the curve around that ribbon and all the way up to there. And that was all one simple flowing line, and that's how easy it is that you can do it. Underneath you've got the ribbon again, because you've already drawn that cylinder. That makes it nice and easy. Think of like a cup or a tin, and you've got a nice chunk missing out of that. Same there. Now I'm following that curve again. Now I'm going to bring the bat wings down. 1, 2, 3, the edge, and the same on this side. 1, 2, 3, and the edge part of that. Now coming up this side, we want to bring that line around over on top of the wand, go to the edge. The wand is quite bent coming down here, so you come straight down and then kick it over, do a circle, kick it out and take it up. Follow the line of the chamfer up to the edge of the sign. Remember, that's a little bit curved there. And the same here now. So from the top, this kind of capital D coming all the way down and round. And you've got the wand inside, this kind of curve, so it kicks out, goes up a little bit straight, bends back round, and then goes in. If you follow that shape and that pattern all the way down, that's your wand inside. Now it's a good job in magic, because you couldn't do this in Muggle technology, because you'd never get a hole, it wouldn't just fit through, would it? That knobbly bit there just wouldn't go through, so I think it's magically made, this sign. And that goes up a little dink there. So that's the outline down quite nicely. Do the edges of this kind of ticker tape ribbon. Now, again, we had here, I showed you how you could do this separately. Like I did here, I'm now going to do this in one flowing line, because I'm just following the line that's on. So I'm now curving over the top, coming down, following that little ellipse, curved round, down to the bottom, curve round. I'm now curving underneath, now back up to the top. That was quite a nice line. Little dots inside. Now the outside line of, well, the inside cutout line of the Ollivanders sign goes down, and then we've got a little dugout there going right down to the bottom. So we need to carry this edge on around underneath the inside. We've got a little knock there of this cut out hole in the centre of the sign. Follow the curve round, got another kind of little knock there, up to the edge. We've got a kind of V chunk there coming down. Again, I'm just doing the thin lines. We're going to build everything up when we've got all of the final detail lines down. So now the kind of floating sign inside, you can see that little line going in, coming down, curving underneath, and this is going to go right the way across, and then the curve matching the inside of there. Now we've just got a little ding to the right of the centre line. Again, that curves right the way down. Now we've got those little hooks that come down, and now we can do the unicorn and the feather and what looks like, oh, like I said, I don't know what the third one is. I'll have to try and check that out. But the unicorn, I'm going to lightly just do the diagonal lines all the way up, and then add the curve of the horn of the unicorn all the way up to the top. Then we've got that triangle for the ear, the back of the head coming down, and then we want a nice curve coming down to the front of the neck, the cheek going round and up, down the front. Now we want, there's the mouth going up to the nose, follow the shape down. There's a little dot for the nose, little triangle for the eye. Now the mane coming down the back, follow that simple shape and that little curve, and again it's just like hair, so if you kind of follow the flow, follow the curve round and up, and then coming off the back here we've got these three lines. There's the second, The top one really needs to curve round. And there's a little line there. Now inside the neck, got that line down there, and we've got these little marks. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, and then you've got a little one up the side of the neck. And coming off the ear up to behind the eye, you've got a little kind of V, little line going under the eye, one in front, little dots down by the top of the nose, then inside the cheek. You can see that's making the unicorn just stand out a little bit. In fact, we'll finish the unicorn off. So if we do follow these curved lines down on the mane, just leave some little white bits showing. And then inside there we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then some little ones in the top, filling the bit above the head in between the ears, and then the ears have got some little detailed dotted lines on. Now we can do the wand, the phoenix feather, the centre spine of the feather going all the way up behind the unicorn. That curves right up to the top. Now as it curves over, you've got that little point, and then as the feather comes down the side, we've got these nice little shapes. That's like a little triangle, and we've got a little parallelogram there, and the same coming off that side. But then we've got nice little lines indicating the flutes in the feather. The same going up, and then down at the bottom got just a couple of little knocks there, and then this one, it ticks down, goes up, and then goes out, and then we've just got some little detail lines in the side. And then we've got these like 3 feathers, like the raven claw feathers. Right at the bottom. Fill that in. Now we'll put all the other detail dot lines in, but let's just kind of fill that in nice and quickly. Now we've got the words Ollivanders maker of fine wands since 382 BC, Diagon Alley. Now again, I'm left-handed, so if I go that way it kind of makes sense and you'll see it all happen rather than me drawing and just covering what I've worked on. So that's why I work on this side. If you're right-handed, you'd probably go start at the O and work your way across, but I'm left-handed, so I'm going to have to do it this way. So I'm just going over the E, and you've got the serif that comes through. The N curves down and just kicks out underneath a little bit. Serif at the top. Serif on the bottom of that side. The I, thick in the middle, serif across the top. The F, thick back part, little serif, and then that T for the middle bit. Then we've got another F, so we've got the serif on the top bar, serif at the bottom, and then the T, sideways T on that. The O, it's thinner at the top and thicker at the sides. Dot in the middle. The S, you've got a little serif there, and then it curves round right the way up to the serif. The R, little flick up at the top, and you've got the curve round, which is a bit thicker, and it just curves underneath the S. You've got the serif on the bottom and then the thick back, and we've got this E, the K just kind of kicks up and down underneath the E, and you've got the top, that little serif on the back line. Then you've got the A, which joins the K there on that serif, thicker on this side, thinner on the left hand side. And again, the serif on this side of the A goes over and joins the M, and then we go up to a point, thinner in the middle, and then we've got a thicker bit on that side. Again, I'm going to pull that point up a little bit to make that just go a little bit higher. So there you've got makers of fine. So I'm going to work on the Ollivanders. Remember this S that we did using nice simple boxes. So we've got the curve of the serif, curve that around, then you've got a right angle on this end piece. I'm going to push that out and kick that down. Then you've got the centre part of the S, and then that curves round underneath to join that end, and then we've got a little curve on the serif. Kick on the R coming down with the serif going off just underneath the S. Now you can see here, going right the way along to the edge of the E, your serif line covers right across the bottom of all of those. So now off the top of the R, going to curve that right round, put the little D in, which is the hole in the R, and then right down the back, and then put the little point in the centre. So again, we've got the serif of the E comes down, out across the top, point out the back, all the way down to the bottom serif, and then you want the point that's going to join on the D. Then we can fill in the inside parts, join that up to the top, and then you've got the serif in the middle part inside. Now we'll fill all this in when we've got covered the rest of the actual drawing. So now this D, just going to push that over a little bit. I want the serif off the back as that curves down, and then the serif again comes right the way under all of these three letters, the D, the N and the A, the first side of the A. So we can bring that line and you can go right the way across. And then you've got the little point in the middle of the D that joins on that N, serif off the N at the top, that comes down, and then you've got the serif on the other side, and then the diagonal, and then the left hand side of the N, little triangle pointing out. Then we've got the A, and it's just slightly curved from the top, it's not a straight line. Do the little spike on the side, follow the A up, come down. Now the serif on this side is alone, doesn't join onto the V, but we've got a nice curve that comes off there, so we want to put that spike out and then fill in that triangle that makes the bar across the A. Now the V, we've got a curved serif on the top there, serif goes across the top of the I, and we can bring these points down the side, do the point that joins on, and then that curves away from the bottom of the A, comes down a little bit lower. Again down this side, bring it down, and you got the little point coming out, the I, serif at the bottom, L, we do that, and the serif kind of joins onto the next L, and we can extend that right the way across. But the two top serifs, I'm just going to do them together, and then the uprights of the L with the points on. Serif goes up above the lower part and then come down, that little point out. So you can see how quick and easy it is to get all of that down and in. Now the O, and then you just want the nice oval in the centre, and then a diamond inside the hole of the O. So there's all your words at the top. And now we've got to do the same down at the bottom. Just follow the lines that you've already done for Ollivanders. So I'm starting with the S. You want that nice little curve as it bends. Bring it down to the bottom and fill that in. We'll fill that in after, as we do the rest of the drawing. The kick on the top of the D, and then that comes all the way around to the kick at the bottom. Fill in the back, and then the curve on the inside of the D. Now the N is a little bit more complex. So we've got the foot at the bottom, and then it curves and gets narrower as it comes down and joins. Now the serif at the top is just a little bit of a point going to a small curve over the top to the serif right at the bottom. And the A curves out right over at the top. Got that serif at the bottom. Vertical line. Then we've got the solid line across. And then you've got that curve coming down, and that little kick curves around underneath. Then we can follow that out on the side of the A. And then the W is not straight like the N or that side of the A, it's just slightly curved. Now, as it joins the middle part, again we've got that curve, and it's wider at the bottom, thinner at the top. Bottom line to join, kicks out, same thing. Wider at the top, at the bottom than it is at the top. And then we just want those kind of points off. So now we've got the C. We're going backwards, CB283. Serif, curve the C round, right up to the point. The B, your serifs go out past the back, and then we've just got two little dots. And the two curves, comes down, goes out, and a little serif kicks up. And the 8, and then the 3, it's got a little serif on, points up, diagonal line, and you've got this nice curve that comes down to a point. Now we're on to since. Little serif, middle part with a serif, and the bottom. Again the C, flick at the top, that serif at the top like that one, and it curves down, little serif at the top, comes down, you've got a thicker diagonal, and then the left hand side with the serif at the bottom. The eye, you've got a serif at the top and bottom, and then you've got the S, little serif as it curves round on both sides. Finally, we've got Diagon Alley at the bottom. So the Y has got a little serif at the top, comes down, same on this side, and the E, diagonal line going across, thicker on that side, then it thin, bends around and it's a bit thicker again going underneath, and you've got the kick coming up. The alley, got a slight slope at the top, serifs at the bottom with the two L's. Thicker side on the A, bring that curve down, pull off at the top, centre bar and then the serif. The N is like a little house, it's got a little rooftop, thicker on the sides, little serif on the top, and you've got little serifs at the bottom. Now I'm using the same nib, you can use a smaller nib. The O isn't a circle, it's more like a diamond. You can get finer detail lines if you use a thinner nib, but I'm just using the same pen so you can see what can be done just by applying pressure. And you've got a C on the edge of the G that makes that shape. The A, you've got to think that like these letters are replicating something that's been carved with a chisel. Kind of Gothic typeface. Little point above the I. Again, that should be a little slope. Then we've got the D. With that serif coming off the back. And finally we've got this wand in the centre. So we've got the actual line in that we part drew, and so you've got the line going at the top but it doesn't join here, so we've got a thicker black line underneath. This is the start of us fully detailing up, and then you've got a couple of detail lines over the top, fill in the back, and that's like the kind of, oh excuse me, hiccups, grain in the wood. Now again, under the S, kind of up to halfway, and then a couple of lines there, again inside the D, so the line's going to go all the way across the top, and then we've got the grain part, you've got a gap between the D and the N, same kind of thing, you've got a line at the top and then filled in underneath, and inside the N we've got a couple of little lines and then the thicker one at the bottom, thicker one at the bottom between the N and the A, and then just a bit at the bottom in underneath the A, between the A and the W, and then similar in between the W, line at the top, block at the bottom. Now the point coming up is thicker at the bottom than it is at the top, but there's no edge as it comes down. There you can see you've got the wand going all the way through. Now the final main line is this edge one going up over the top of Ollivander's name. And following that point all the way down, and then comes over to where the L is, and then on this side comes down, curves inside, and then kicks across. So that's all of the main lines down, and then we can add the detail in a moment. But before we put all of the detail parts on, I'm going to rub out the construction lines so that I've got clean paper to work with underneath. Again, as I explained at the beginning and I explained in all of my videos, I put these construction lines on far darker so that you can see them. You can do it much lighter. I tend to use a 2B pencil, it's my favourite kind of pencil. Whereas your construction lines you could actually put on with a HB or a 2H and it'd be very, very light and easier for you to rub out when you get to this kind of section. So I've now nearly erased all of that and gone past the wings, and then the nice kind of ribbon banner at the bottom. And you can see there I've got a very clean image to now we can add all of the kind of details. So I'm going to start with the wand, and you're just putting these lines on like grain, but there's more on the right hand side because it's kind of darker, and so gently filling it in. You got black down the side, block there, thinner lines going up, and that's how you can just fill it in. You got right at the base, so I'm just indicating the kind of wood grain in the wand. So that's all done on that side. Then I'm going to do this side. Thin wood grain lines. Again, coming down, just follow the kind of shape, but just kind of wiggle your pen around, and that'll give you kind of wood grainy lines. Little kind of rings underneath at the bottom on that one. So there you can see we've filled in the wood grain on those two wands. Now we're going to fill in all of these edge bits. Again, it's kind of wood grain, so you can put the little lines in indicating the grain in the wood. So fill in that kind of really chunky bit there, and then we've got wood shapes, put a big block filled in, just some little dab lines as we go up over the top. Then this V, you've got to darken that completely. And then over the N goes the fan, like the kind of lines fan over. And then again in this V that's chunked out, that's full solid. Then coming down the top, just some light little lines, a couple of squiggles, and then it becomes fully black there. Then here we got just grain, fully black underneath the wand. Just a couple of little points there, fill out that edge. Then we've got another knock there, just do some lines, leave some white showing. Now all underneath here is black in the shadow, and then we want just some like little V's, but leave the white showing a little bit all the way down, darker at the bottom as it comes to the shadow, be it caused by that wand. Just some little dots. Again, you can fill in some bigger bits. Now again, just do a couple of lines to leave the white bits. And you fill all of that part in. Got a couple of little lines there, some dots. Right down the bottom, that's filled in. Then all of that's dark. Got some lines going to the edge, but then it's all dark inside. That shoulder, then here it's all a bit of a mixture. So you can just fill in with your pan the shadow, but just create some grain just as you're filling it in. Don't fill all of the lines in together. And this is predominantly dark underneath. And then you just got some little tick lines. So you can see we've gone all the way around and the edge is just starting to get some decent definition. So now, nice thin line, just adding some extra bits that are on around the wood, and you can see that's that line there. There's another one here, and that's the kind of wood grain going across the sign. There's another one there, and another one above the S, between the E and the R, above the E. Just these little marks giving the wood the character. One in between the V, one above the S there, above the A. Yeah, that was correct. There's a couple there, then there's two by the M, one outside of the O. Couple of little marks there, one in between that L, one in between that L. This is how you can just build up the detail. Just look and just add some little marks. You can add extras, or you can just copy exactly what is on the drawing, on the reference picture. That goes to that edge. Off the bottom, and that one there, little triangle there, two little lines. So above this line here we've got quite a few going all the way over. Two there, and then we've got one that goes down and goes up. Just some different marks there around the edge of the wand. Couple down there, two between the S, some little ones down underneath the 382 BC. 'C. Now we're going to fill in the ones, and this is pretty much all black. You've done the hard work by creating the outline, so it's just nice and easy for you to fill all of that in. And if you leave some white bits showing, that doesn't matter. Side of that A. And down on that W. Now we've got the edge of the kind of hole that's cut out, and it's a bit thicker, so you can just follow the line round and increase the thickness all the way round. And then that comes round underneath. It's just like the edge here, but it's the inside chamfered edge. Got another couple of little ticks off there, a couple down there. And again, we've got the same on the hanging bit of wood with the feather unicorn image inside too. And you're just thickening up that line on the outside, and that's giving it a bit more definition. Now again, round underneath the bottom of the phoenix feather, it just curves completely. And that comes all the way to the end. And then we just got some dots and lines on this kind of old rustic board. Going up the side, just a few in there, above the unicorn's ears, between the feather and the unicorn's head. And now we're down to the wings. Nice line going down. Leave the white showing. And I'm just filling in the gaps in between, but just trying to leave a little bit of white showing for the spines of the wings as they come down and out and give that shape and definition. Inside of that curve of the ribbon is fully shadowed. Then you just want some lines following the direction of the curve here as it comes round. Leave a little bit of white there. And that's that side done. You've got a line over the top above Alley. And then one down, or a couple down there. And then again, the shadow inside. You can make completely dark and then leave the edge, a bit of highlight showing there, little V of shadow, and bring the lines off. Again on this side, you can curve the lines but follow the shape and the flow of the actual ribbon of the banner. Now again, here, I'm going to draw that line up and go above that spine, just so as it can leave that light, that white bit showing. Now, fill in that part in between. Same for that dark. Draw another line that'll leave that white showing. Again, the same down the bottom of the wing. Finish that spine off. A couple of little dots inside. And that is Ollivanders sign complete. Oh, no it isn't. Oh, see, you get there, you get so close, you say it's complete, and that's why you have to check and you have to look. I've got to do Ollivanders. I've done all the rest, but I didn't do the bit at the top. Shocking. I've also missed off the end of that R coming down there. Now, again, just fill it in quick, but leave some white bits showing on these corners of the S. Just think how this will have been chopped into the wood using chisels and then painted. So I'm filling it in and just leaving some of those white bits exposed all the way down there, down that edge. Now the E, the back of the E is all shown and exposed. You can leave some little bits in there. The top is all black. The middle is all black. But then there's a white bit on the top there. Just a couple of little dots. Highlight on the top of the D. Line down the side. And then you fill that in all the way to the bottom. The N, little light at the top, down that side, all the way down the edge of the diagonal and all the way down the edge of the left there. The A, got a little light showing at the bottom, some little gaps at the top, but then all down that side. Can leave that showing and a little bit across the top of that V. The V, again, leave the edge, highlight, showing. The I, you've got a light down the side. Same with the L. One across the top. And that's filled in. And then you just kind of replicate it on the second L. And the O. And that curve goes right the way up and over. And there we really do have Ollivanders Maker of Fine Wands sign completed. That's a very, very complex shape broken down using simple squares and triangles and circles, and you can see how you can make something that's got no straight solid lines, that's very complex, and you just take the time and you can make it nice and simply. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do like and subscribe for more videos. Do share the Harry Potter playlist and the How to Draw playlist out to other people, and enjoy your drawing. I'll see you next time. Ta-da.